Today's video is on graphing inequalities. As you can see off to the left, there are 4 different signs that represent inequalities. You have less than, greater than, less than or equal, and greater than or equal. Now, when graphing these on a number line, once you find your solutions, you're going to have either an open or a closed circle. If your inequality sign is less than or greater than, it's going to be an open circle, which means that that value cannot be included in your solution. If you have less than or equal to or the greater than or equal to inequality sign, then you're going to have a closed circle, which means that that value is included in your solution. So if you look up here, I have x is greater than 8. That means any value bigger than 8 is going to make this statement true. However, you cannot include 8 because 8 is not bigger than 8. Over here, I have x is less than or equal to negative 2. This means that any value for x to make the statement true has to be smaller or equal to negative 2. When you're writing your inequalities, remember to write them with the variable first and your constant second. If you write it this way, then when you draw your number line, the direction of the inequality is going to tell you the direction that your arrow is going to move on your number line, left or right. So if we look down at the examples, for example 1, I have x is greater than 8. I have an open circle over 8, and my arrow is pointing to the right because that's where my values are going to be bigger than 8. For example 2, I have x is less than or equal to negative 2. I have a closed circle because I have my or equal to inequality, and the inequality is pointing to the left, so my arrow is pointing to the left because that's where my values are going to be smaller than negative 2. If you look at example 3, you can see that the constant is written before the variable. I would suggest flipping that around so that your variable is written first, because then you're not going to mess up your graphing. So when we flip it around, we get x is greater than or equal to 4. I have my closed circle because I have the or equal to, and it's pointing to the right because that's where my values for x are going to be larger than 4. Now for examples 4 and 5, they will give you the graph and you will have to come up with the inequality statement. Remember to write your variable first and your constant second. Your inequality sign is based on 2 things. Do you have an open or a closed circle, and which direction is your arrow pointing? Since the arrow is moving to the right, that means you're going to either have a greater than or equal to sign, and since it's an open circle, that means it has to be the greater than, because you cannot include the 8 in your answer. For example 5, again, write your variable first, your constant second. I have a closed circle and an arrow pointing to the left, which means I have to have a less than or equal to sign for my inequality.